So let's talk about some answers. Okay. So some of these people, they're like people who are listening, they're like, listen, I'm with you, Drew. I'm on board actually with every single thing you said. What can I do as an HR professional, outside of storm the Bastille? What can I do to right, move this forward and really get some traction and moving forward? What do I say? What's a first step? What should I be doing?
Well, the first thing is analyzing the real ROI, right? Or lack of
Okay.
ROI, the reverse ROI in the situation, right? The cost. What's the cost of this happening to organizations, right? And there are a couple of costs that are to us, pretty obvious, but to the folks on top, they're not always that obvious because they're subtle. They're not direct costs, they're indirect costs, right? You got the cost of onboarding somebody new, right? You got the cost of doing that search to get that person to onboard, right? Those are not direct costs as much, but what happens is you have 6 to 9 months of that person's effectiveness in that first year in role when they're hired into a new organization, or a new role for that matter, even in the same organization, where they're not going to be functional. They're not going to be at the top of their game. So you're losing
Right.
productivity for 6 to 9 months,
Right.
right? That's off the bat. So unless you're paying, just for numbers sake, you pay that person $100,000 a year, $60,000 to $90,000 of that year. Oh, sorry, I'm sorry, I apologize. Wrong numbers. 50 to 75,000 of that money is going to be essentially wasted. You're paying them to learn, right?
Right, because you haven't done it. So just to recap, people, no problem. We said we started off with $100,000. He just said that the first 6 to 9 months is going to be a challenge. So obviously that's 2/3 of $100,000. That's how he's getting his numbers. Keep going.
Yeah, 50 to 75% of those numbers. So yeah,
Yeah.
so we're talking about $50,000 to $75,000 down
Right.
right there, right down the
Right.
drain. Then you have the cost of the teams
Oh
around
yeah,
that
I
person.
made the mistake just then. You're right. You said 6 to 9 months, 50
Yeah,
to 75%. Math on air is hard.
it
Go
is.
ahead.
It is one of those things, right?
Right,
Um,
50 to 75%.
yeah, but then that's actually direct cost, right? That's
Right.
very clear. That's easy to
Right.
easily quantifiable. How do you quantify the effects on the teams around the team that person's brought into, right? How do you quantify the human effect of them seeing someone leaving and saying, well, why'd that person leave?
Right.
What conversations did they have with that person? What kind of relationship did they have with that person? Do they know why that person left? What kind of a gap did that person leave? How much did they have to actually work extra to make up for that extra work that's not getting done now? Right.
Right.
So now
So
they're taking time away from their money.
I'm sorry, just to
Yep.
interject for a second. That would be, because I would actually classify that as team collateral damage,
Yep.
because you're talking about there's things that are outside of that person leaving inside the team. That's collateral damage. That's how I would
Correct.
say, okay, all right, we're still moving. I got you. This is great.
Yeah. And each one of the team members now are taking time out of their own schedule that they need to be doing their own work to do that
Right.
person's make up for that person's work. Right.
Right. Right.
We're not done yet, but
No.
that's the next level. Now you think about the third level ripple, right? What are the teams that person interacted with outside of their own teams, right?
Okay.
Where they rely on that person to be the leader to do whatever they needs to get done. Those are
Right.
people are affected as well, right?
Right.
And then that goes out to the entire organization. You can do this all day. My point being that cost is not just that person's salary or that person's effectiveness. It's the
Right.
cost to the organization as a whole, plus the brain drain concept, which is the whatever knowledge, institutional
Yeah.
knowledge or
Yeah. Yeah.
experience they've had has gone with them.
Right. That is awesome. So then what I'm hearing you say then is a good first step is to be able to quantify that a little bit.
Mhm.
We don't have to turn it into a, whatever, but quantify that. And then I'm thinking, and here's my next question. Second step